Welcome back, all you Fabricant and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today we're going to be talking about season 2 of Reservation Dogs, the first 3 episodes that have been released so far. It's coming to you from Hulu and FX. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? Well, Reservation Dogs, a show that I was late to the party on last year, but I checked it out. The first season, absolutely loved it. It's the story of four teens who are Native American. They grew up on a reservation in Oklahoma, and man, they are just doing their best to try to save up money so they can get out and go to the promised land of California, where dreams all come true. And what we basically see is it's a bit of a slice of life show about 14s who are struggling with the suicide of their friend or cousin in the previous year, and are, I guess you could, they're not a gang, but they're not a gang, and they're sort of doing petty little crime to stack their money up. And you see all of the little things that are going on in their lives, or big things to them that are going on in their lives of these teenagers. And also you get a really nice look at as reservation life. I think, which I would say, I'm not native, but I get to see, and this one thing I love about shows like this is getting to see a part of our various cultures in this country and around the world that I don't know, I'm not exposed to, and I wouldn't normally even see on regular TV shows or anything like that. But thanks to Taika Waititi, Sterling Harjo, who's the producers of this show, we kind of get a peek into the lives of people who live on reservations in America, and I think we're all better for it. This show, like I said, I loved the first season, fell in love with the characters, absolutely enjoyed all of that, and was really looking forward to this season. And I kind of dropped the ball on reviewing the first couple episodes, but here I am. We're gonna catch up after that long ass intro. So, what do I think about these first 3 episodes, which are entitled "The Curse," "Run," and "Roofing"? And I'm just gonna say this show continues its excellence. It continues to really, uncover the layers of these characters, and it really is just generally a great show. I didn't know anything about it. Obviously, this is an original show, but quickly came to just love the character of Bear, Elora, Dannon, Cheese, and Willie Jack, the reservation dogs, if you will. But also all of the supporting characters. Bear's mom. You had Big, the sheriff. Bucky, one of the older guys that's around the res. We just have an amazing cast of characters, and they're going. There's. Well, I think what's cool about this show is that there is, there's hard and scrappy, and but still, ultimately, these people are in the show are, very optimistic, but they go through tough things and everything. Bear's dad isn't around. Willie Jack's cousin, had committed suicide. There's all these things going on, but they're still, they're a family. They're together. They're optimistic, and there's also a kind of native spirituality that again we don't really get to see much of, but it's just in. All right, 1, 2, 3. There's a native, like a spirituality that just kind of permeates the way they talk about, life, and the way they go about, their day. Like, for instance, the first episode's called Curse, and it really is about Willie Jack, you know, thinking that everything's sort of going bad. Elora, at the end of the previous season, Elora and Jackie, who was the member of their rival gang, the Indian Mafia, they just skipped town with the money that the Rez Dogs had been putting together to go to California, and it kind of leaves the other three back and the other members of the Indian Mafia back home. And while they're off, Willie Jack really believes that because in the previous season she had asked to put a curse. She had asked a couple white guys at the bar in town to put a curse on the Jackie, that it had rebounded, and that she was worried that everything was going bad because of that. So their part of the episode is really just going around, trying to get that curse off, and it's humorous, and we get to see, Bucky, who's played by Wes Studi. We get to see him, be fun and silly, and semi-serious. There's just like all of that's going on, but he's also, he's in a rivalry of sort of long-standing rivalry with one of their uncles, Uncle Brownie, and it's fun to see them kind of come together to do that. At the same time, we're seeing Elora and Jackie sort of, making their way and running into misadventures, getting chased. Like this show doesn't shy away from talking about, native issues. That there are problems that we don't see if you're not in that culture. Kind of dealing with non indigenous people, with the white people that are around. That there is, the subtle bits of racism that we take for granted as being normal, like even just calling people Indian or whatever, or there was an Indian and what do they call an Indian fortune teller thing, kind of like the Zoltar machine, like things like that are subtly racist versus outright, scary people chasing you. Like, admittedly, the girls are trying to steal a car because their car had broken down and they'd gotten away from a creepy dude. But to get, literally chased down by guys with wearing Confederate flag shirts and driving a big pickup with rifles, chasing them down, that's like the scariness of that. Which was, their whole, and actually that second episode run where it's really just Jackie and Elora trying to, get back on the road after a severe setback, and the way that it sort of, they run across a good, a white woman that does help them out, even though she's clearly that they're runaways and they might be bad news, versus the guys who are chasing them down in a pickup truck in a field. And to see like how far are they really willing to go to get to where they want to go, and who we get to see Jackie as more than just like this, sort of rival bad guy, and see who she is for real, and to see how maybe Elora isn't really like her, how where they still end up kind of doing some bad things, still in a truck and whatever. But Jackie may be a lot more, I don't want to say irredeemable, but she's a lot less, concerned. She's a lot more concerned with herself than maybe Elora is, and I hope that means that they're going to get her back in the fold. And then we move on to the third episode, which was, to me, so far it's the best episode of the series. Even though I did like the second one, in that I like to see that it really kind of focused more on Elora and how her misgivings about what she's done kind of come back into play. And maybe her alliance with Jackie isn't the greatest thing. But in the third one, we get to see Bear, who's been, sort of dealing with, among other things, Elora leaving. That's really kind of messed him up. But also, he sees the spirit, which, by the way, let me stop and say, Spirit is just such a great, he's going around. We saw him talking to Bear in the first season. Now, Uncle Brownie can see Spirit also. So he's very much a real, very much a real thing in this. And being sometimes silly, but also delivering good, I guess, advice or wisdom about what to do. And he's like, go get a job. So Bear goes and gets a job, and to see it, he gets out and he's working with his mom's friends or whatever. And, he's just a young guy, just sort of green and doesn't really know what's going on. And of course, they mess with him, but there's also a nice little bit of, men, older men sort of, I guess, trying to guide the younger man where he ought to go and what he ought to do. And we also see, he has a good bit of a beef with his friend Daniel, who committed suicide, his dad. And just kind of seeing him unsure, but trying to get his footing literally on a roof with these guys, and they're treating him like a man of sort, not a young man, but treating him like a man that works and everything like that. But finally getting to see the two of them, Daniel's father and Bear, sit and talk and sort of air out, I guess, what's between them, was really nice. I thought it be more acrimonious, but people that are really kind of bearing the fact that, hey, we're not perfect and I messed up, but you have a chance to not do the things that I did, to not mess up. We could have done better. We could, with Daniel, we could have seen, but we didn't, and it's killing me. And to see Bear, take his, I guess, his anger or misplaced anger or whatever bad feelings he had, and realize that he and his friend's father are not as far apart as maybe he thought, and that there was an understanding that could be had, and that even that maybe the patching up of their relationship was maybe in the spirit realm may have been what was meant to be. I just really loved it. I mean, it honestly brought a bit of a tear to my eye. But that's really the way this show has been working. That this is a slice of life, but it's a slice of life that I'm glad I get to see. It is introducing to me characters that maybe don't get the screen time they ever get, or get to appear at all in other things. To get to see this culture, but also to get to see that these things are universal. People, love for family, friends, reconciliation, fear of the future, trying to figure out where you're going in life, what you really want to do, what's important, and trying to overcome, the injuries and hurts and that other people, even the people closest to you, can inflict on you, and trying to, become a better person, being better than you were before, or not making the same mistakes. These are all things that we all think about and all go through. And to just see the way these stories deliver that with like real sensitivity and humanity and humor, because the show's quite funny, and just really kind of deliver all these stories with characters that you care about, that you want to see, grow up and do well and just generally succeed. It's just wonderful. I love it. I love this show. Reservation Dogs, one of the best things on TV right now. These first 3 episodes hit the mark perfectly. I am absolutely rooting for not just this show, but for the people on this show who are, really they have an opportunity to be exposed to the rest of Hollywood and to our culture, so that we can see more of them going forward in the future. And I'm sticking with this. I cannot wait for the next episode. So anyway, that's a lot to say, but what did you guys think about these first 3 episodes of Reservation Dogs? And what do you think about what I had to say? I'd love to hear about it. Get down to the comments section. Leave your thoughts, and maybe we can chop it up and just discuss this great show. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me on this review. Come back next week. Going to be reviewing episode 4 of Reservation Dogs. Until then, I've been Mo de Poupée, resident fabricant and comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.